Oh, I'd like to give some tips on Battle Royale. And I think my record would speak for itself. I'm not perfect, but I get the #1 spot a little more consistently than others. The first tip would be to jump immediately when you can. For me, this gives you an advantage of choosing the guns that you want. Again, getting all the loadout that you prefer. So I look for an area with at least 2 buildings. Always close the doors. That gives the impression to enemies that no one has gone in that building yet. So I always close doors wherever I go, or enter through windows. Find a vest ASAP. It's the first thing you need. You'll always get into an encounter in the first few minutes of a fight. So use your earphones. At this point, I heard someone, so I grabbed cover and looked for that enemy who was there looking at me. So the good thing here was I had armor. So without that armor, I probably would be dead. You'd see I had 33 health left. So the next thing I immediately did was to use my adrenaline. So I use your adrenaline as soon as you get one. You'll always find another one in the battlefield. It's always advisable to use your adrenaline ASAP. First thing you get it. And stock up on all types of grenades, of course. You'll never know when you get to use it. I always have the usual grenades. I set traps just in case someone is following me, and I always close the door. And always crouch when you're in a building. You'll make less noisy sounds. In here, I already heard those footsteps before the red feet appear on the map. So I was prepared and I set up a trap. And I just waited for that guy to come up because they always go up. So at this point, I had to strategize to plan my path. It's either you go to a level 3 armor or you look for a chip upgrade and set a point. Here I hear footsteps again, guys. Wear your earphones. It really helps, especially if it's stereo sound. You kind of know where the direction is. Always customize your loadout continuously. When I first played Battle Royale, I didn't know I could customize it. I thought it was just automatic. And I always set traps near supply boxes, because for sure some people will always proceed to those supply boxes. Trap always helps. And this is something I learned early on. Since you're running all the time, you always look behind you. You never know if someone is right behind you, following you, aiming at you. Personally, I avoid big areas and I go around the outskirts. Why? Because if you're not loaded out properly, you will die. Another tip is to have a gun for close combat and have a gun for sniping. That way you have the flexibility to snipe from afar and you have a close quarters gun for the close quarters combat. So this didn't seem to work for me, but I was persistent in sniping from this distance. So I had to do simpler triggers, but he didn't, since I was far, he didn't know where I was, so I was able to, again, snipe him from a distance. So on my way up to get to his supplies, I hear footsteps on grass. So I realized, oh, I have to go up and, again, snipe from a high vantage point. That way you're safer. So I couldn't see him, and by this point I see him. I get a few shots in. And my next move is a mistake. I wasn't supposed to go down. You're supposed to stay up there and snipe from a distance. But again, I had to adapt. So I had to look for him, and he has the higher vantage point. But again, I do not panic. I crouch and I shoot. And again, always use your adrenaline. You'll never know when you'll need it. And here I will need it because I get shot again. So I always crouch when I shoot an enemy. It gives me a stabler shot. So at this point, again, I use my adrenaline. Even if I just have 2 left, I still use it. I know I'll probably find someone, especially at this stage, I'll find someone with more adrenaline. I set a spot, and on my way I hear a firefight near me. So again, if you're at the higher vantage point, you can snipe and kill someone. Luckily for me, they both died. So I loot them, and lucky me, I get adrenaline again. So again, keep using your adrenaline. Don't be afraid to use it. I hear footsteps from one of the buildings, so I set a trap and stay in a shaded area and wait where they can see me. So I snipe this guy, and he's down. So on my way to the supply box, I head for high ground. I survey this spot first, because for sure, if it's on my map, it's on everyone else's map. I make sure no one is there before I proceed. I set a trap. I get my level 3 armor, and I set another trap, just in case. And I proceed to a chip upgrade, and you will see here someone fell for my trap. So I concentrate on getting the chip upgrade first, before I look for that guy who tripped on my trap. And then I set a trap, again get grenades. Always be cautious when coming from a skill chip area. And there he is. A few shots and he's dead because of the trap. Always look behind you. You will see someone, again, someone might be following you. So here it is. Some people do not expect the person they're following to stop and look behind them. It always helps. So always go to higher ground when given a choice. Last 5 players. So I head for the nearest area with cover. I thought it was this house, but I find out it's beyond the next safe space. So I skip it and find the guy and there, shoot him. Again, I loot him just in case he has more adrenaline, since I keep using adrenaline. At this point, somebody snipes me from very far. I get 1 point damage. So I use the rocks as cover. And I try to flank this guy. I go around him. I circle the perimeter of the next safe area. And I'm sure that guy was probably high up in that mountain range. So here I survey, check out, we're just 2 guys left. I go to higher ground, just in case I get to see him. I survey and I do not see anyone. At this point I see him running down the mountain, going to the next safe area. So I shoot him, and I don't realize the safe area is moving. So at this point, I use my sniping rifle, then he's running, and then I shoot, and there. He's dead, and I'm number 1. So those are just a few tips of how you can probably get to the number 1 spot when playing a single battle royale game. Please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.